Medicaid to cover gender-affirming surgeries. We brought inclusive LGBTQ plus curriculum into our schools so that all students now learn about the contributions of queer and trans trailblazers from Marsha P. Johnson and Harvey Milk. The State Board of Education is implementing gender-inclusive policies to ensure that our schools are welcoming and affirming. And I'm proud to say that my administration is the most diverse administration in state history.
Why is he talking so high? My voice is lower than J.B. Pritzker's.
That speech needed to end with a woo!
There's Howard Dean when you need him. I'm sure he's available. As available as I would like J.B. Pritzker to be in a few years, of course, the governor of Illinois, giving you all the reasons in the world why you might not want to send your children to a public school. He was speaking at an Equity Illinois event, so a source there as to why he might have been championing those things. And our thanks to the Morning Answer on X, station in Chicago, highlighting the obnoxious nature of Governor J.B. Pritzker. This guy does not love your children. He loves his own political needs. He loves his own political journeys that take him to more power, that he can lord himself over you, and it's gross. Well, let's talk to somebody who's constantly fighting back against it. Our friend, Illinois State Representative Blaine Wilhour, back with us. Blaine, welcome back to the show. I know that you are fearless when it comes to pushing back against J.B. Pritzker. I want to talk to you about this homeschool bill, this private education bill, where the Democrats are reaching as hard as they can into the homes and the decisions of people who have said, I don't want my kid in the public education system because I don't like what the government has been doing to it. Blaine, welcome back.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Annie. I was just listening to that clip. I came across that yesterday as well. What a creep. What a weirdo. And they wonder why they got shellacked everywhere in the country and in every competitive place in the country. It sounds like the type of people that we want to turn our kids over to, right?
Absolutely not.
What we're seeing in Illinois is a full-on assault on private education and on homeschooling. But I will tell you what, over the last 2 weeks, they've awakened a sleeping giant in the state. There's no doubt about it. These homeschool folks, these private school folks, they're in this for a reason. They take the time, they take the money to be able to afford their kids these opportunities for a reason. They're some of the most principled and diligent people out there, and they are making their voices heard all across this state. And we're looking to probably hear this in committee bright and early tomorrow morning, and I anticipate a complete full house in the Capitol here with folks that are advocating for education freedom and for the government to get the heck out of their lives. They've ruined enough.
Yeah, amen to that. Illinois State Representative Blaine Wilhour right now speaking with us. So talk to me a little bit about the logistics, the government that's going to take place here, because this is something that, you see something get posted on Facebook, you're like, well, I don't like that. And then you have to start digging into processes. It gets really in the weeds, and people unfortunately lose interest because they don't understand it. Break it down for me in a way that I can understand what people have already shown up to do as far as witness slips, how the Democrats have reacted to the, 25,000 plus witness slips that said hell no to this. Where are we at in this governmental process?
Yeah, so the opposition is 100-1 on this. I think there's nearly 30,000 people that have taken the time to voice their displeasure through the official process on here. Homeschooling and private schooling is two of the things that in the state of Illinois that we've actually done right for a long time. The government hasn't been too intrusive, but it's also the fastest growing source of education, especially post-COVID. So you know how the folks in the educational industrial complex are. Anytime that they don't have control, they're going to go all in to get it. So what they're doing is they're trying to form a mandated registry where every mother and father who decides to homeschool their kids would have to register. And we would vote on this, but we really don't know specifically what's on the form either, because we vote to mandate that the State Board of Education, who is totally untrustworthy on these things, actually create this form. Opens up the door to a lot of really, really, really terrible things. And the good thing is, we've had a really strong opposition, and the facts are getting out there on this. And I think that we're really making some progress in the city of Chicago. because the homeschooling is growing very, very quickly in minority communities up there too. They were hit some of the hardest by these, regressive and punishing COVID policies, and so it's growing very fast in their community. And fortunately, we've heard from some of those legislators that they're getting a lot of pushback in their communities too. So it's not just downstate red areas here that value education freedom. It's some of the urban areas that really their education system has taken more of a hit than ours downstate.
Illinois State Representative Blaine Wilhour with us right now. Does the feedback from constituents, now, of course, we've seen, you said 30-something thousand witness slips that said no, and you said it was 100 to 1. On the feedback that people are getting. You're talking about people reaching out and speaking to their representative. I'm sure that matters if their representative is Republican or Democrat, that both people alike should be able to listen to and be communicated with. Does that feedback make a difference when you have a super majority of Democrats in the House, in the Senate? And J.B. Pritzker, the scariest thing to me is he's here championing all of these things that they've successfully put into the public education system at this event. If you start giving private education and homeschool over to the regulation and supervision, what's stopping J.B. Pritzker and the people who are like him in the state of Illinois, of which we have a supermajority, of saying, you're going to report and these schools have to meet these same standards, otherwise it's not going to fly?
Nothing really stops it, Annie. That's what's so dangerous about this. Now, it may not say explicitly some of that stuff in this bill, but what it does say is that these homeschools and these private schools are subject basically to spot checks on curriculum. Not only curriculum, but actual work of the students, writings, actual homework, things of that nature. They're subject to a spot check by either the Chicago Public School or the ROE in your region to ensure compliance. But the question is, compliance with what? And who makes that decision?
Yeah.
I mean, the government school is going to make that decision. What's the recourse for these homeschool students? And anytime that you are forcing these homeschools and these private schools to be recognized by the state of Illinois, which this does, that is going to start tying them to the school code. And the school code is at the will and the whim of these crazy Democrats in the legislature, so they can mandate anything they want, and that would make this legislation would potentially make homeschools and private schools subject to anything that this legislature wants, out of control.
Representative Wilhour, I mean, how well is the Illinois state public education system doing? Maybe they're doing so well that homeschools and private schools could take note, elevate their own, the private school test scores. Maybe they need to come up to the levels of the public education system that Illinois is offering. Is that the case?
No, it's not the case at all. It's actually the opposite. All of the research indicates that homeschool students are doing, completely better on SATs, on any of the testing, on any of this stuff. 3 out of 10 kids in the state of Illinois are reading at grade level, Annie. I think that these legislators here have enough to clean up in their own government schools without trying to punish homeschools and people that are frankly doing a lot better job and doing it a lot cheaper. You're homeschooling, for a fraction of the cost of the $20,000 some dollars that they're spending on education that's going downhill rapidly.
I was going to ask you that. Do you know what the cost?
Not to mention all the nonsense that's going on in there outside of just the test scores. I mean, just this last week we've seen what's going on in Deerfield, Illinois, where they're taking some of this woke ideology and they're forcing 13-year-old girls to change in a locker room with some guy who thinks he's a girl.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. Clean up your own mess.
Exactly. Just real quick, do you know what does Illinois pay per pupil to educate in this state? Do you have an idea of that number?
I mean, it's pushing $20,000, and if you're looking at the Chicago public schools, which are the worst and the most dangerous, it's over $30,000 there, and the results are going down. It's completely ridiculous.
Well, you and I have worked for years and years together on trying to bring some common sense back, maybe to Southern Illinois, maybe to the whole state. My friend, Greg Bishop, I think you know where I'm going to go with this, but has been talking about a possible Blaine Wilhour run for governor, and I have proof that I've been asking you to do that for a while. And I don't know is J.B. Pritzker going to run again? He can. There's no term limits. We need common sense in Springfield. We need a governor who knows where Springfield is. I know you do, and you work your tail off to make sure that the people of your district are represented, but the rest of people who feel like they don't have a voice in the state of Illinois. Blaine, you considering a run for governor?
Well, we don't know what we're doing in 2026. All I know is that we're going to be in the fight. We've been in this fight all the way along here to be a voice for the people that have been left behind in this state for too long. Political class in both parties has been terrible in this state. Governor J.B. Pritzker clearly doesn't care about Illinois, and we do need good people to step up that's actually done something for a living and knows the effects of bad policy in this state. So we'll see. We'll see on what's to come in the future, but I'm in this fight 100%.
Well, I'm behind you, Blaine Wilhour. Would love to see it, and I'll pray for you and for your family. I think the last time I said that to you, you said I'd have to talk to your wife, and that's that's both the right answer and the right political answer. So you're well on your way. We appreciate it.
Amen to that. I always appreciate you, Andy. I appreciate the job that you're doing.
Thank you so much. We're going to follow up on this homeschool thing as people need to get their witness slips in right now and make sure that they back the effort that you and the other representatives voicing common sense in Springfield. We
get up to Springfield tomorrow. Make your presence known.
There you go. Absolutely. I know a lot of people who have contacted me. I keep getting contact from folks, and they say they're going. So we're going to watch, and we're going to see what we're able to do, and we appreciate you being a voice for the reasonable people of the state of Illinois.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Take care.